Hey everybody, we are back for another episode of CW Movie Night. It's been a while for me, but Dean and Mike and Eddie held down the fort last time to talk about Monster Hunter, and that was pretty enjoyable. If you guys missed that, how you guys doing tonight?
They're pretty good, man. Why are you so sad?
I sound sad.
You're
I'm not
like, hey
sad.
guys.
I was so inspired by your last episode. There's Eddie joining us too. I was so inspired by your Monster Hunter episode that I thought, why don't we just do another Paul W.S. Anderson film right after that? Same director as last episode, which is it says a lot because I realized going through Mr. Anderson's catalog that I'd already suggested even another one of his movies to you guys, which is Soldier. Let's have a look at the director's catalog here. We got a lot of fives, some fours, some sixes. He's very consistent. He's right around that 50% quality range.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Is this his highest one?
well, he has a few after this, but it's like all the Resident Evils, right? But Event Horizon.
Death
I mean,
Race? Death Race is pretty good. With Jason Statham.
yeah, man. But we are talking about AVP, directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, and Eddie and Fern felt like joining us because they clearly have a very passionate personal connection to this film, right, guys?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah, same. I watched it when it first came out.
right. And I want to hear about that a little bit because I got some memories of that time too. But AVP all started with this, which is the number one comic. I think it's from like '90 or something like that, and it was the result of Dark Horse Comics executive meeting, just thinking like, what can we do here, guys? Come on, we got the aliens and we got the Predator. And then some guy went to like take a dump and came back to the meeting and he was like, I got it. And they came up with this monstrosity that has lasted to this day. And I don't know if this is not this is a relatively cheap number one if you want it, if you're morbid out there, but it's not as good as Predator number one, but you can find it for like $20, like ungraded, pretty readily. But yeah, so it took a while for them to make a movie. That was, this movie came out in 2004, and the comics were already around for over 10 years at that point. And even in the end of Predator 2, which came out in 91, you see the xenomorph skull in there. So I don't know. Does anybody have any fond memories of their first time seeing this that you'd like to share?
I don't have any fun like interesting stories. I probably seen it in the theater. I don't remember. I was 12 and I
Yeah.
used to go to the theater a lot cuz that was really all we had in the town I grew up in. So I there's a good chance I saw it in the theater, but I don't really remember it. The only thing is for me, this is my introduction to the Alien or Predator franchise.
Nice.
Before this, I
Oh
had
wow.
never seen any Alien film or any Predator film. In fact, I didn't even see the first Predator or the first Aliens until a couple of years ago. I think it was both for CW movie nights.
I didn't
So,
see Predator till I was already a man.
yeah, exactly. So, and I still ended up falling in love with the franchise. So to me,
Yeah.
they were always connected. I didn't realize that this is the first film that connected them. I assumed that they were always connected together. So,
Well, it's Predator only existed without AVP being a thing for about 4 years, so they almost were always connected. But yeah, but I don't know about any other ones. I definitely remember seeing it in theaters because, and when we get to it, I'll mention it. But there was a specific shot that caused the audience to uproar and laughter that I vividly remember to this day.
yeah,
Yeah,
go
I
ahead.
have a very similar like thing like with Eddie. Like I watched it when it first came out, and that was my introduction to the whole
Wow.
Alien and Predator franchise as well. And um I just remember I just have fond memories of watching this movie like all the time with my cousins. And ever since then, I mean, I've seen every Predator movie And as a matter of fact, I didn't even know that there was a part 2 to this movie until like
Really?
18.
That's an
And I,
exciting part too.
yeah, and I
I haven't
watched
seen
it.
the second one.
Sure.
It's
Don't.
it's
Like,
not as
you're
good.
fine.
If you think I liked Alien vs Predator, but a lot of people don't like it, and the second one is worse.
Yeah, it's pretty
Um,
bad.
but
It's interesting.
yeah, it's funny because ever since I've watched this movie, I've seen every Predator movie, but I've never seen any of the Alien movies. So I still
Oh,
need
wow.
to catch up on that.
My
You
God,
gotta
you
watch
guys! I
it.
wish,
Wow.
Fern, what I would give to watch Alien and Aliens for the first time. I don't know. I don't know even. That's amazing. I would love to hear your immediate reaction. But real quick, checking with the chat, we got Toy Mafia, Pedro Lopez, and Jason Nelson. And Pedro Lopez says he also saw it in the theaters back in the day and never saw it again.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same way. I saw it in theaters, and I had to rewatch it this week to even remember what the movie was about. I was like, I remember like a pyramid and it's coals. That's all I remembered about this movie.
The
Yeah,
Batman and Robin run from the flames shot with the Predator and the woman had the
Oh,
audience cracking up.
dude.
That was, dude, Brian Mansell, that was it, man.
That was the same thing I thought.
This was over 20 years ago, and I remember the theater cracking up live when that moment happened.
It's so funny, dude. That was one of my biggest, like, because I'm watching the movie and I'm trying to remember like beats where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna fucking make fun of this movie so hard when we talk about this, and that was one of them because it's so stupid.
So many of the shots in this one are just straight rip-offs from like different, action movie shots, throughout the year. So it's you almost when I rewatched it here over the last couple of days, kind of in the background, I was kind of thinking to myself, like, is some of this intentional? Like, is it supposed to be like, in homage to some of these other, sci-fi kind of movies, or is it just that lazy and just that bad? I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. The early 2000s was a weird time because I mean, they had Alien versus Predators. They had Jason versus
Yeah.
Freddy versus Jason. I thought they were gonna keep going with the versus
Yeah.
stuff.
RoboCop versus
would've been-
Terminator.
That
would've
was a
been cool.
comic, yeah.
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 Yeah. And Brian's saying it was a pyramid in the ice that rebranded the predators to gods, and they taught the humans how to build. You got to remember, this is before Ridley Scott got back into the Alien franchise, before the engineers were really a thing, right? So like, it was a very loose time in the Alien canon. So like the synopsis of this. Go ahead.
I was super confused by that because I'm watching it in the lens of 2025. And I was like, wait a minute, like the aliens weren't really a thing until David got, or was it David? Got his little
Yes.
robot hands on the black goo from the engineers. And I was like, how the fuck are there aliens on Earth already?
Well,
So that makes
So-
sense.
all right. Well, here's the amazing synopsis to Alien vs Predator 2004. During an archaeological expedition on Bovatoya Island in Antarctica, a team of archaeologists and other scientists find themselves caught up in a battle between the two legends. Soon the team realize that only one species can win. Also not what happens. But yeah, basically this is one of those situations where the IMDb and the Rotten Tomatoes are kind of strange again, and we're gonna hear from John what the deal is with that.
Hey everyone, I'm here to give you the Rotten Tomato score as well as the IMDb rating for Alien vs. Predator, originally released in 2004. Let's kick it off with IMDb. Alien vs. Predator got a 5.7 out of 10 with 224,000 ratings. That's over on IMDb. Let's move it over to Rotten Tomatoes. Alien vs. Predator got 21% on the tomato meter with 145 reviews and 39% on the popcorn meter with over 250,000 ratings. Not very good. I'm going to send it back to you guys in the studio. Wishing you all the best. We'll catch you on the next episode. Take care.
Surprised?
No, that seems about right.
I don't know.
I just want to say
feel
really
like
quick.
people are overcritical. I think it's good. I think
I don't know what the background story is of John doing the ratings, but I think it's hilarious every time I watch the show.
Yeah, dude, it is. It's not as funny as I want it to be, and I'm gonna say it again because Fern brought it up. But like when you guys did movie of the week, he would read it with such little enthusiasm
Oh,
that I thought it was hilarious. But he reads this he reads it a little bit too much engagement for what I want. I want him to be less interested when he reads it. But it's not quite as authentic as when you guys did movie of the week. But yeah, this is crazy. Like I feel like every time we see this, it's like surprising. Like this might be lower than the holiday special. I think this is like Snow White numbers. This is crazy.
Yeah,
There's no way it's Snow White
the,
numbers.
I would say the popcorn meter's a little closer, in my opinion. I don't think it's a good movie. It is absolutely a fun movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say earlier, I saw it in the theater. Wasn't something I bought, but it is a movie that anytime I come across it on TV, it stays on that channel. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's fun. If you can't have fun watching this, then you're not
Yeah.
trying.
I watched the Alien prequel movies. I always forget their names.
Prometheus and Alien
Prometheus.
Covenant.
Yeah, thank you. And like those are better movies, but I didn't have as much fun watching them as I did this.
Yeah.
Like this is
100%.
kind of campy, and like the characters are a lot more goofy. So when they die, you're kind of like, haha, idiot.
Yeah.
But in the other movies, when they die, it's like horrific. You're like, oh my god, that's terrible.
Yeah.
So
well,
yeah, that's a good point, Mike. And it's still fun to watch, but it's not good.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's one of those movies where like you just gotta shut your brain off and just watch it. Because like, or watching it earlier today, it was probably like my 15th time watching it, and I was still like
Same.
on the edge of my seat watching it. And I was like, holy shit, this movie's like fun to watch. But it's like when you really think about the story, it's like, what? Like, how does this make sense?
Well, personally, I will watch anything with.
Extraterrestrials.
All right, I needed
That
to
was
get
good.
that out one more time. But yeah, basically, we're gonna get into it now because this movie's crazy, and I noticed going through it, the visuals just blew my mind, and it was so hard not to screen cap everything. But first of all, you guys should know that there's a unrated cut of AVP that probably none of you watched.
Mm-mm.
And
well, now
they
I need to
basically,
watch it.
when they did the home video release, they were conscious of the fact that people were ripping on the movie for being PG-13 in a franchise where everything else is rated R. So like, why don't we do an alternate unrated cut, and maybe I'll get some more people to buy this physical media. And it's really not much different. And I hate to say it, but like watching the movie, I can pretty much point out everything that's different because I've seen it so many times. It's like a special edition Star Wars to me. Basically, you can spot that stuff easily. A lot of it is the addition of CGI blood that they weren't allowed to have in the PG-13 version, so they just badly CGI'd some blood on a few scenes. But the big notable addition is this opening sequence that takes place in 1904 Antarctica. And you have the whaling station that we see later in the movie while it's still actively in use. And you got a comedic 1904 idiot with a big mustache running around in the cold. Because already, like the predators are besieging this whaling camp in the 1904 because, we learn later in the movie they have a cycle with which they go to this place. It's a very unnecessary scene that you can easily understand why they cut it. It's pretty much just this guy getting shot and the titles come up. So so it's really not a lot to it there. You got your stunt satellite shaped like the alien queen at the beginning here. Anything you guys want to reflect on that you're interested in, go ahead and stop me. But we're back. We're up to 2004 again, and a Wayland satellite detects a heat signature over Antarctica.
Do they explain? I'm just trying to remember. So I know like why the heat signature started, but do they explain how it started? I was trying to remember, and I didn't know if I missed it again when I was kind of rewatching it over the last couple of days. But obviously they kind of say later that the predators basically started up, to start their hunt. But
Yeah,
is it like a remote control? Is it on
they
Wi-Fi?
they
Like I don't.
they
How
they
did that
probably
thing just start?
they probably just press boop on a remote control, or they have egg timer that starts up the queen or something inside the pyramid.
There you go. All right, I just didn't know if I missed something on that.
No, I don't think you
If I
did.
missed a plot thread there.
But this is like it sort of reminds me of like uh Independence Day, where it's like you got like the SETI nerds at the beginning who are like, yeah, that's weird.
It's
What's
like
going on
every
over there?
natural disaster film that was made in the 2000s.
Yeah,
Starts
and
with
then
nerds staring at a computer screen that blips at them.
yeah, 2004 is such a weird like in between era, right? Like these guys are using CRTs still, but like but this is the first Alien or Predator movie that has like half decent CGI. Like Alien Resurrection used a lot of CGI for the xenomorphs, but that was like 1996 that the work was done, and it doesn't look that good compared to this. So it was an interesting time, man. Like for me, this really feels like pretty much Predator 3, because like this is so much closer to the originals than what we're getting now, if you ask me. I don't know, just stylistically in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, they see a weird pyramid structure out of the Antarctica, and they're looking all confused because that shouldn't be there. And then we meet our protagonist, who I would not describe as a Mary Sue because she's very good at her job.
Is she?
Yeah, she's pretty good. She's like the only one who survives. Spoiler alert.
I mean,
But
she gets everybody else killed.
and doesn't
No,
really reflect on
everyone
it
gets
much.
themselves
Well,
killed.
that's fair. Let me
Oh.
rephrase.
Yeah, and we're jumping ahead, but she's like, you guys should not do this expedition. I would like to leave and not participate in this expedition because you're all gonna die. That's pretty much her stance on the whole thing. But she's climbing the mountain like just like Captain Kirk at the start of Star Trek V, and she's just show how cool and industrious she is. And we meet this guy who is basically playing the same role that he plays in Resident Evil, also directed by Paul Anderson.
Dude, he dies the same way too.
And,
Shit, he does. That's
Literally the
fuck.
same pattern and
The
everything.
same. Holy
diced.
crap, that's hilarious. That's
Dude,
amazing.
that's right, huh? I
Yeah.
didn't even catch that.
it was only 2 years later too, but yeah, man. So we basically begin to realize that he's recruiting a team of top individuals to explore this pyramid for the Wayland Corporation. And he met her on top of the mountain with a chopper because he means business, and they're getting her out quick.
That's how a lot of late 90s, early 2000s movies, they show the protagonist climbing the side of a cliff, like Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Was it
Ace
2 or 3?
Ventura. Ace Ventura.
Yeah, Ace
too.
Ventura. Yeah, like a lot of stuff starts off.
Okay, well, the Ace Ventura one literally is cliffhanger.
It's a parody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm sure none of you guys have seen Star Trek V, but just humor me for a second, because Star Trek V was the time where they foolishly let William Shatner direct the film, the only time. And
Is that the
and
one
it
where they
op-
go home?
No, this
Okay.
Star Trek V, the one directed by Shatner, opens with like a 6-minute sequence of him by himself climbing a mountain.
Wow.
I mean,
And
you're
it's
gonna
just-
do it.
Yeah, it's pretty great. And then Spock like rocket boots up to him. It's amazingly stupid.
I do
But,
remember that.
Yeah, but then we see some of the rest of the team. This guy whose name I forget is played by Raul Bova, and I can't think of anything else he's in. But I watched the behind the scenes feature so many times that I know his name.
Bro,
So
all of these people, I don't know what
This
the
guy
fuck
might
else
be
they're
in Under the Tuscan Sun, which is a romantic chick flick, but
I
think
believe
that's where
that.
I know him from.
it's about the same time period, right? Somewhere
Yeah.
around there.
Yeah.
But he's digging up some stuff in Mexico, and he's sort of we get the sense that he's like vaguely a Mayan expert, and he finds a Pepsi bottle cap in what's supposed to be a big find here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's just like Jurassic Park, where he's like, "We'll fund your research for another 3 years if you come along." with
Yeah.
me."
Yeah. That's good.
He's like, "We need more money, so we're gonna do that." And mercifully, we don't see the rest of the team being recruited because they're much less interesting. And then, yeah, man. So we got the Ross Ice Shelf in Antarctica, which I presume is a real thing, and a CGI helicopter. And we got our first little tease that Lance Henriksen is back
There's
as
your boy.
Charles Bishop Wayland, and the pioneer of modern robotics. Now, it's well known that Ridley Scott and James Cameron are not a fan of this movie, and they think the franchise really took a hard L with these movies. But it's really undeniable that Prometheus and this have a lot of similar story
Yeah.
beats.
Yeah,
Like,
they do.
Like scientists are brought together because of a random archaeological find.
Even
go and
the scenes, like when they're all talking to him on the ship, that's a lot
Yep.
like the scene in Prometheus when they're
Exact-
all listening to Wayland.
Never mind that it's Wayland in both
Yeah.
assembling the
Same
team.
guy. Yeah.
I didn't know his middle name was Bishop. I missed that. I know
Yeah.
it's the actor that plays Bishop, which I didn't always know that. I think rewatching it this time, I was like, oh shit, that's a nice like little Easter egg kind of a thing. That's cool.
Yeah, and it sort of ties into Alien 3, another movie that I covered with Classy Thomas. That was our first episode of CW Movie Night, because the when Lance Henriksen shows up at the end of the movie, you're not really meant to know if that's another android or the designer. He says, "I look like Bishop because I designed him." So
Yeah.
basically, this is like as if I mean, if this guy looks I mean, it's so funny the way the canon works. Like, AVP is not canon to Alien 3, but Alien 3 is canon to AVP. So like, basically, it means that that guy was probably an android, because what are the odds that
Yeah.
your great grandson looks exactly like you? Pretty low. But anyways, a fun little piece of Easter egg there, and we go on to with the Ridley Scott prequels. Although Wayland is played by another actor who's what's Guy Pearce,
Yeah.
it's still maintained that he's basically the father of the artificial intelligence and robotics, very much like it's presented here. And then we got this dingus.
Yeah.
I forget what his specialty is, but he's pretty goofy.
He's a
God, I don't remember either.
He says
Did
in
he do
this
anything?
scene.
Did he do anything in the whole movie though that was
He
helpful?
didn't do anything.
Not really.
He did one thing that was helpful. He left one bullet in the chamber for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he shot like 10 fucking bullets. Desert Eagle does not hold that many.
It could if it was a 357, but you're not wrong. If it was a 50 cal, it's like 6 rounds max, maybe 8 if you're lucky.
That's why we have the experts on staff here. Call out mistakes like that.
It comes chambered in several different rounds. 44, 50, 357. Also, I think a 40. Or
So
45.
they you get these little text cards that are vaguely reminiscent of the original Alien, where it describes the crew breakdown of the Nostromo. They're trying to. Paul Anderson is trying here to like make everything count. Like, he's trying to make it feel like it's part of the same universe.
Yeah, he wants it to feel familiar.
Okay, hold on.
Here we go.
Because this is no longer canon. Correct?
Well, that's not quite true, and we'll get to that in the behind the scenes. But
Okay, because in like Prometheus, it's very clearly takes place in the future. But this felt like it takes place now, or even in 2004.
well, they
No, it is
explicitly
2004.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
they say that it takes place in 2004.
Okay, because I'm like, fucking Wayland starts like they jump into that giant fucking spaceship and they fly across the galaxy
Yeah,
we
that
didn't
was
have the
like
technology in 2004.
no, that
That's like
was
90 years later.
yeah, it's like 2180 or something like that.
Oh,
It's not
okay.
the same. It's not the same Wayland. Yeah, yeah. I know it's confusing. There's a lot of Waylands. In fact, Lance Henriksen plays even another descendant of Wayland in the Alien vs Predator game on Xbox 360, which takes place a hundred years after this. So that was Lance Henriksen's last appearance in the
All right.
franchise. One more video game after this. But yeah, so we get the rest of the Goofy team here. Another
Doesn't
nerd.
it seem like even some of the cast feels like they were cast similar to these characters in Prometheus? Like some of the actors reminisce some
Yeah.
of these characters. Like there's a short-haired chick in Prometheus that's like the
Yeah.
same kind of a deal, and then that guy that was in the helicopter. I'm pretty sure he's the geologist, which the guy in the Prometheus kind of looks like him.
Like
that
the
first
Fiefeld
gets
guy
attacked?
who gets
Yeah.
mutated.
Yeah, he's a geologist or something like that. So like
Yeah.
there is a lot of Prometheus feeling in this. Yeah.
Yeah, which is like crazy because Ridley Scott would rather die than admit that he was influenced by it in any way. But this guy's annoying. It was fun to see him get killed.
Yeah.
And then you have the hangar bay, which is explicitly reminiscent of the loading bay in Aliens, where they keep the drop ships and all that, even though
Yeah.
it's the middle of a container ship, basically. And this is the stuff you notice when you get the freeze frame. You got Wayland walking up with a little W there to subtly hint to you that that's who it is. And then he's sort of in the shadows at first. And this is like seeing him in this movie was crazy. Like there's a couple times in my life where like current entertainment made me feel like I was living in a simulation. And like I'll explain why, but like I was in like I don't know, I was in like grade 9 or 10 when this came out, and like I was all about Aliens and Predator. Like they're my favorite movies at the time. And like when you're in that mindset and then you hear that AVP is coming out, you can't even believe that it's real. You're like the only other time that happened to you is like I just started listening to the Dio era of Black Sabbath. They'd been broken up for 20 years, and like the month I started listening to it and enjoying it, they got back together for a tour. You can't believe it. Just doesn't even seem real. That was never on the cards. That shouldn't have even happened. But
You're
that's one of those
100% That's exactly how this movie felt. It's exactly
Yeah.
what it was. Like I said, for these guys that this was their first experience, and I'm with you, Chris. I mean, I grew up
Yeah.
on the original stuff, and
Yeah.
the fact that these guys were finally gonna fight was like, let's fucking
Yeah.
go.
It's not
Yeah.
that big of a fight either.
No.
Well, there's a couple moments, but yeah, here's your Prometheus scene where he's like, all these ancient cultures pointed to the same constellation in outer space, so we're just gonna go there because 3 times in a row is not a coincidence. So here it's they show him the scan of the pyramid firing up. There's a heat signature in the Antarctica. And this guy's like, yeah, I'm the best digging company in the world. We're gonna dig down there in like 3 days, man. It's gonna be great.
I thought I was
7
watching
days.
Armageddon for a second.
Wow.
He's like, we got the diamond bits. We're gonna chew that snow up. And then Alex does not impressed by this proposal, and she would like to leave immediately. Yeah, it rings true. Like somebody who's a professional and realize she's probably seen people die trying to climb Everest and stuff like that. Which actually she does mention that later in the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then they tell her who the B team is, and she knows the guy and he sucks, so she's even more concerned that people will die on this expedition.
but
And,
only she's good enough to save them. The
She was
arrogance of this woman.
she turns out to be not quite good enough to save
No.
anyone. But
Not sure she ever really even tried.
yeah, the interesting like you get like this movie they literally wouldn't have the budget to like the helicopter shots we saw earlier and this shot like with the Arctic scenery, like this is stuff you could only just do in 2004, and they hadn't quite refined the taste levels yet, because it's like that helicopter shot earlier, it's like perfect sunset. This one you got the northern lights, like it's almost too, like they went too far to that it doesn't look real, right? Like the
Oh,
northern
yeah.
lights are Too juicy.
Well, the
Bro.
part where the guy had to mansplain to her what the Northern Lights were.
I was about to say, she's
That was
out there
amazing.
looking at it, and he walks out there. He's like, "Oh, it's ions in the atmosphere." It's like, yeah, who the fuck doesn't know what aurora borealis are, brother? We know what it is, dude.
I didn't at
Dean,
12
it's
years old.
It was 2004, man. People are dumb. But
She's really freaking hot, though.
Dude, she's
She
such
looks
a
like she looks
babe.
like
Yep.
just not
Ava
Janet
Longoria.
Jackson. She looks like
Yeah.
Janet Jackson. Bro.
Oh, that's
Janet Jackson, yeah.
Janet John Gloria.
She looked like Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
Let's get that nip slip, brother.
all right.
Dang.
So we finally get our look at the Predator spaceship. Now, I wasn't, as someone who was very into this franchise at the time, I thought, why does the ship look so different? Inside the ship in Predator 2, it looks like it's just like all golden and like smoky and like there's hieroglyphs everywhere. This looked like a spaceship that different kind of
Extraterrestrials.
This looks like a better spaceship that like intelligent aliens would have, right? And it's loading up to Earth, smoke coming out, and you can see that they're the masterminds here. You got the pyramid hologram, and you got their masks charging up, because they only last about 30 hours after a few years at most.
yeah. USB-C.
Yeah. And then you got the space laser that's going to punch a hole through the ice directly to the pyramid faster than the human digging team.
Which- Nobody saw a giant fucking laser come out of the sky as their ship is flying toward or sailing towards it.
I mean,
You saw the aurora borealis, but not a fucking space laser.
it was pretty
Nobody-
quick.
Nobody sees the ship fly over that guy's head when they're down at the station either.
Yeah.
Well, it's invisible.
No, not in that scene. It wasn't.
Well,
Oh,
they're not
was it?
there. First of all, Dean, they're shooting at the Antarctica. There's like nobody there. These guys aren't even there yet. They're inside the boat still. Talk about safety. He's not interested. This guy's like 50 and he's got like frosted tips. It's crazy. 2004 was crazy, but they unload there, and who knows? This shot's telling, right? Because it's like they put like a small piece of a ship in the foreground, and then they had the trucks and stuff. That's cheap for them to get, so those are real. But they just put a chunk of boat close to the camera,
Yeah.
Chunk of
so it
boat.
looked like they got the boat right there unloading, and they're probably just loading off like a platform. There's no actual boat in this shot. I'm guessing, but it really looks that way.
yeah.
And they go out. They're going out to the site. He's saying he's trying to romance Alex. He's talking about the hunter's moon.
So dumb.
Oh yeah.
And
I
there's,
mean, he's pretty
that
handsome.
dramatic pause after he says it too. Like, oh, I get what they're doing.
He's talking about hunters coincidentally.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And some unlucky, they start walking through the whaling town that we saw at the beginning of the unrated cut, and you get the laser sliced right through this shack.
Yeah, no one thought that was fucking suspicious. They're like,
did.
this wasn't here yesterday and it's here now. And it's like, it goes perfectly up to the roof and nobody's like, maybe we should not fucking go in here. Like, clearly this came from space. Like, what? The
Where's your sense of
trajectory is like,
adventure, Dean? Christ.
brother, come on. You
well-
you die first. That's your sense of adventure. You die first, brother.
The digging guy was great. He's like, do I still get paid, or like nobody could have done this, man? I'm telling you, even though it's here. I like their little ice tunnel set. They get some good use out of that. Some fun stuff happens there. Here's a fun shot. So like the Predators are watching these guys with their sky cam, right? And like this is actually so stupid if you think about it, because like the way it zooms out, it like cuts the shot into like a pop-up book, But it's like, why the heck would it ever do that? It's not a 3D model. It's clearly like they took a 2D frame of film and just like diced it up and like layered it for no reason. Like it doesn't make like there's no reason why you'd ever display it this way. It's like it doesn't make any
You're
sense.
trying to get into the mind of a predator, man. Come on.
And also, but you know, what you notice if you there's a lot of transitions very similar to Resident Evil where like it zooms in on like a hologram of the hive and then it like fades into them walking down the hallway like from the hologram.
Oh, it
like,
does do that a lot.
Yeah, does the same sort of stuff. And then we see that these predators have 3x hand gauntlet knives, which wouldn't even fit back into the gauntlet. It's
I
pretty amazing.
hate these oversized fucking blades. I think they look ridiculous.
Yeah, he's like they use nanotech to retract.
Yeah.
It's like Iron Man's suit, which you guys have all accepted for some reason, even though it's so stupid. But anyways, let's keep going. And Alex and Lance Henriksen talk about how their emotional connection about like, you know, she explains that her father died climbing Everest, and he's like, and she's like, "You're real sick. You shouldn't do this. You're gonna die probably." And he's like, "What do you think your father remembers? The pain, or like having champagne with you at the top of Everest?" And that's enough to convince her to get off his case because he's probably gonna die anyway. He's got leukemia
Also,
or something.
It's like, bitch, I'm funding this shit. You don't tell me where I can and can't go.
And then he proceeds to immediately slip down the ice chasm because he's old and almost die. And she almost stabs his head, stopping him from sliding down. But she's so good.
I would have been like, yeah, I'm going to go wait in the car. Fuck this.
Like 10 seconds later, he almost dies. Yep. It's good.
Fern, was this still a good idea, or are you regretting this now?
Fern,
Just kill my childhood. It's all good. You
I know.
Fern,
That's what we do.
Fucking-
Take
We're
the
not
movies you love. And we
We're
tear
not
them
even in the
apart.
action yet, and I'm more like,
Dude,
I know.
damn, this movie was that bad.
No, I mean, listen, that's not bad. She correctly observed that he was going to be a problem. She's a smart character. Here's your guy not noticing the ship fly right over his head.
Dude, that
Yeah.
was the first thing that actually pissed me off, because he looks up where the ship is going. I'm like, what is your field of view? There's no way you didn't see that ship. Like, just because you didn't look directly above you, you should.
Yeah.
It's a big ass ship.
Okay, and here's something I didn't notice until I saw the second movie, but they really thought ahead. Like, okay, so like this is, I don't know how well you remember the original Predator, but you only get one shot of the ship in the original Predator at the very beginning, which I think shouldn't even be in the movie because it sort of gives away what's going on. I think it'd be a better movie if they didn't have that shot. But like, it's a very different looking ship, and it fires off a pod, and it veers away from Earth, and it fires a pod down, right?
Yeah.
So like, you can't really, I don't know if okay, it won't show my mouse on here, will it? Oh yeah. So like, this little circle here has the ship from the original movie. It's that much bigger than the original ship, right? So like, if like you can see it in these scenes if you pay attention when it passes by, but like it's literally like a 50th the size of this ship, right? So like it is in there, and they shoot, and you get a closer look at the sort of Predator drop pods that you pretty much you just see that it shot something. In the other movies, like you don't actually get a look at it. It'd be a rough landing.
I thought the drop pods were too small to have those big ass predators in them.
I mean, scale can be deceiving, right? Because this whole body has to be like in this bottom part here, so maybe it's pretty huge.
Dude, that's another thing I was going to mention. These are some huge ass fucking predators, dude.
They're jacked.
I was
brother.
waiting to bring it up until they show them, but
Yeah. They're supposed to be
Like-
juveniles, which is even funnier because they're bigger than the usual ones.
In the other Predator movies, like, sure, yeah, they're big, like tall and big, but these
they're
motherfuckers
skinny.
are like yoked.
yeah.
I'm
Well,
like,
it's
"Goddamn."
the typical escalation, right? It's like like Dean, you were talking about with Jurassic Park the other night, right? Each time there's a sequel, we have to make these things bigger and badder and scarier.
Absolutely. And
that's
and
exactly
it's
what this is.
and it's
Like
no
the
coincidence
Super Predator.
that the fourth time they did it, much like Jurassic World, that's when they jumped the shark, because the predators in the Adrian Brody movie look stupid as hell compared to these ones. But
Really?
anyway, yo, that one with the giant head, like, come on, dude.
I still
Can't-
think Prey Predator looks the stupidest out of all of them.
Yeah.
I think the one out of the three that has the ginormous pumpkin head from the Adrian Brody one is worse than the Prey Predator.
Oh,
but-
the Berserker.
yeah, yeah.
That one is
yeah.
pretty wild.
It's pretty
Yeah.
bad. But you know, they get down there. There's a Mayan pyramid under the snow that's like, and they, you know, something you'll notice from this point in the movie on is that there's magical light that comes from nowhere because they're deep underground
Yeah.
inside a pyramid, and there should be no light whatsoever.
Yeah, but it already powered up at this point. So
Yeah, but
They
where's
got-
the
they-
lights?
they got some running lights in there. They
Let's
don't want
see
these
'em.
aliens to trip.
Yeah, let's see them.
There's no, in no shot do you see the lights, but there's light coming from around corners and stuff that doesn't make any sense.
It's like
But,
that
you know-
cavern thing where there's like just glowing rocks in the walls and
Yeah.
you know.
But Lance Henriksen fires a flare gun behind the pyramid and causes an avalanche that kills them all, further proving why he shouldn't have been brought along. No, that's not what happens. But you know, you get this sweet pyramid, and
Roll
like
credits.
yeah, and you know, like I got to when I was on vacation last month, I looked at a Mayan pyramid, and this movie was all I thought of, and I realized I was ruined as a person. But because I was like, I just imagined aliens being thrown down the stairs of the pyramid.
Did you get to go like walk up those steps, or is it?
No, they didn't let you up the steps.
Okay,
But
I
I
assumed
saw it, and
so.
I was just like, "Where's the predator statues on the
Yeah.
sides, man? It's not right. It's not accurate." But but you know, this looks real big. They're walking up there. You got these giant predator statues already in the shot. They're seeing these designs. They're probably just assuming it's people because they look, you know, a very conveniently similar body form. And you get this sweet hieroglyph, which like there was a point in like 2014ish where I literally tried to get I tried to commission a guy to carve an aquarium background of this exact sculpture for me.
Jesus Christ.
He never finished it,
That's sick.
but work started, and this might
Wow.
inspire me to like get it done again because like look at that like Mayan xenomorph, man, that's good stuff.
You should send him a message and be like, hey, man, are you going to finish anytime soon? It's been 18
Yeah.
years.
I'm pretty sure Mike's
update?
Adventure World
Question
could
mark.
print this for you now.
Yeah, no shit.
I need it like 4 feet wide though. That's the problem.
Oh,
So it's
I
usually
got
it's not. You basically do it out of foam and you like use a hot knife, but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
very toxic. But yeah. So here's one of your transitions from a CGI model to the team sort of walking through the hall just like in Resident Evil.
Yeah. Yeah.
Steps on a Indiana Jones brick that fires up the pyramid.
Which
Right?
that
Like,
is
what a
the same,
weird
too.
place to put that. Like,
There were
you
so
think it
many
would be
times.
fucking,
Sorry, I
like,
was gonna say that I thought, have these guys seen Raiders of the Lost Ark when I'm watching this movie?
but it's like, why would you put the on switch on the floor in some random location? Like, you think there'd be like a pedestal with like a fucking on switch, like, you know, you put your predator hand in there and it turns on the alien queen. But
Yeah, like
no,
what was
just
the
a fucking walkway.
what was the purpose of that brick anyway? Was it for them or was it for the predators?
It fires up the queen here, which I believe this is something like what it looks like when they thaw out Mariah Carey for Christmas every year.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's what they based the design on, I think. But yeah, but it's tough, right? Because it's like you sort of learn that the humans are a necessary part of the process for the hunt to begin. So like, is that brick there for the humans to
Yes.
accidentally step on it? Maybe
Yeah,
Because they're
what I'm
supposed-
thinking. Yeah.
because they're supposed to be there first anyway.
Because they're not going to voluntarily sacrifice themselves anymore.
No,
so
they
have
do.
to do
They do.
Well,
they
the
actually
the
say
Mayans
that.
did.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the 1904 guys didn't even do that. They were shook. They didn't want anything to do with it. But we
So you
figured
think
out
they put it after once they started to revolt and not want to do this, voluntarily,
contracted
then
it
they put
out,
in the death
yeah.
switch.
Well, I mean, back in the
What
day
about-
when they did voluntarily sacrifice themselves, they could have still stepped on the. I mean, I don't know that back in the day they had hand placements that started switches and stuff like we do now.
Listen,
That might be
listen.
more
They have
nowadays.
biometric scanning.
They might have started something by stepping on it back in the day. Like that's what their switch was.
I will have this
Well,
conversation about when the second Death Star was started being built, but not about this, guys. Like, come on, man.
What about the 1804 people?
The 18.
We don't get to see the 1804 people, but they're probably very similar to the 1904 people. In fact, there wouldn't have been anyone in Antarctica in 1804, so they probably had to bring them themselves. The Predator probably bring some humans.
I don't like Eddie trying to put logic into this film. I don't think he understands the rules of this game.
I know. I can't help it. You guys take it out. I got to bring it back, bro.
All right. Well, so here's a crazy little detail. I'm pretty sure. Somebody might fact check me on this in the comments. We'll see if anybody's chiming in still. But I believe I read once that the alien queen in this movie is actually the same prop from Aliens. And it was also the same prop in Alien Resurrection. So when they had it like laying on its back, like giving birth to that weird mutant.
Yeah.
So like, this thing has been through the wars, man. Like it's a 1986 prop from Stan Winston that at least the head, they might not have rebuilt the whole thing with all the animatronic arms and everything, but like the face, I'm pretty sure is the original prop from Aliens.
That's what I appreciated so much about this movie is they used as many practical effects as they could. And like practical effects always just look better. Like,
I think it was just the time period because like it was like we can get away with some stuff CGI, but close-ups like this, it wouldn't look right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think because of that, this movie still holds up really well.
Yeah. This
Just
shot
like
is
everything's
actually,
so like dark and broody that like the CGI is like hidden, so you can't really tell how bad it is. I think this movie held up really good.
yeah, from a visual perspective, there's not CGI that looks glaringly bad, except for maybe one or two. But interesting fact that we'll get into a little bit in the behind the scenes later. But this is actually a 1/3 scale miniature. This shot here.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And you got the Screaming Queen, the Jimmy C, His Holiness Jimmy C's Screaming Queen there, and these guys are just bored looking at hieroglyphs and stuff. These are the guys back on the surface who are the first to die. And this shot, I can't remember if the blood is added for the unrated version or not, because like they really, for PG-13, they really can't have too many kills like this.
I don't remember
That
seeing the
would-
blood when I watched it earlier, to be honest.
Oh, I remember the blood.
I know these screen caps are from the unrated version, but here and there's some stuff. This guy gets speared. What I did like is they really, pretty much every weapon seen in Predator and Predator 2 is on display in this movie. Like the spears, the ninja stars, the net that kills one of the Jamaican voodoo posse guys in Predator 2 it comes
that's
back.
right.
That's what I was
Oh,
gonna say.
this-
This movie, like, simultaneously reminds me of Aliens, Predator 2, and then Resident Evil a lot, like a lot, and then Prometheus, like, and Prometheus and Resident Evil are after, but it's the same director with Resident Evil. But yeah, I remember thinking that a lot. I remember thinking Predator 2 and Aliens, and then I remember even thinking like Tomb Raider, like Angelina Jolie's Tomb Raider a little bit.
Yeah, well, that's all right
yeah.
in that sweet spot of some of the best movies that ever got made, like Terminator 3 and all that stuff. Jurassic
Yeah, I was
Park
just
3.
gonna say, it's
Some
all
of
the
my
same
favorite
time.
movies of all time. You know.
Yeah. Jurassic Park 3, that's all about Alan Grant's repressed homosexuality that you guys all
I
need
want to talk to you about that one.
You're out of control.
I gotta.
Hey, dude, I'm telling you, Mike, if you watch it again with that in mind, your eyes will be blown open like by a bazooka. You'll be blown away by
Have you guys
how
done
many...
that movie review yet? I think that's what needs to be in the. But it
It
might
might-
have to be put behind a paywall. That might have to be a Patreon only.
I'm
Which
telling you, if,
movie?
Movie
Jurassic
Night
Park
Plus.
Oh.
no, but I'm telling you, if that wasn't the intention on some level, like, I don't know what to believe. But if you watch it again with that in mind. But
Wow.
But anyway, look, this guy just got yeeted into a 1904 bunk bed. Look at his busted leg. Ah! And the Predator's going. He saw the humans have already made their way down, so he's got down there. Then
How do they get down there? They just like slip and slide down that fucking tunnel.
Who knows, man? They do
Predators?
some.
Yeah.
They do some ninja jumps later. Like they're pretty good at getting around.
Yeah, I'm guessing they just slid down.
They throw their turtle. They throw their. They take off their turtle shells and skate down them.
Yeah.
Flipping around the sewers.
Yeah. Here's the sacrificial chamber that still has some bodies on it, which I guess these are the 1904 bodies, or did they not use these pedestals since the Mayans and their? I think they
No,
see some.
they
Mayan
show the people sacrificing themselves. No.
Yeah,
Yeah,
these are
they
still
do.
Mayans.
Okay. So the
Yeah.
Mayans were the last people to voluntarily do this, I
Yeah.
guess.
Which my question was earlier. You were saying, oh, they probably had to abduct people from 1804 and bring them over here.
Yeah, well, they showed them killing some guys.
So
at the
where did they
beginning.
kill those guys? If these were the last people.
Well, it might have been in this room, but they didn't willingly lie on the tables
Maybe right.
because
Or-
they show up. There's a closet in this room with like 1,000 skulls in it, so maybe it's some of those. I didn't screenshot that, but they look at around a corner and there's like a tube going up to the sky with like skulls lining the whole thing.
You know what that part reminded me of? Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
I
talking
don't
about?
remember a skull cabinet. but-
the wall in Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah, how he has the whole
How he has
cave
all the
covered in
people all over
bodies.
the.
Yeah. Don't you love this? She's so observant. She's like, you know what? It looks like something broke out of the chest. You'd never say that because there's no conceivable thing that would do that. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a
Yeah.
thought that you would have because
And
nothing does that.
it doesn't even look like it right there, right? Like
Yeah,
the
it doesn't
bones
like
aren't
cut,
pointing
splayed
out.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. She's just that smart, you know. She's like, hey, this looks like something climbed out of there. That's a weird thought to have.
She's the medical examiner.
Yeah.
And then I like the guy's like, what does he say? He says something about it's very common for them to sacrifice their hearts.
Yeah.
Back. And she's like, that's
Yeah.
not where the heart is. Where the fuck is the heart then, dude?
Well, that's right in the middle, but I guess. But the heart's a little
The
bit
whole
on one
chest
side.
is blown open, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
They're
I'm
both
pretty sure they
doctors.
could get to it from this hole.
Yeah, and then you get another. I think there might be the 1/3 queen again because I think that big gnarly egg sack they only made in 1/3 scale. I'm pretty sure. So I'm not sure about the conveyor belt with the the egg laying
Yeah.
technology.
This scene
But it looks good.
disturbs me to this day. I don't know why. It's just fucking weird.
Yeah, it's
The
graphic.
elephant trunk. Yeah, it's just.
I just think but they did a good job of making it feel congruous with Aliens. Like it didn't look too different from Aliens. You know what I mean? Like it fit in.
Yeah.
Well, the alien's definitely not Jewish. I'll tell you that much.
Wow.
And here we have
Wow.
and here we have the poster of Alien 3 built into the floor. You love to see it.
I
The
didn't notice
queen,
that until you said it right now.
That's a good call.
That
it's
is, yeah.
the queen chest burster with the crown, part of the floor. So you got that Alien 3 poster that shows the like spiral embryo there. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Predators are at base camp. They already got some skulls on there. I don't know where they got those
Those
from.
guys
The-
are swole, dude.
He got him out of the closet.
this guy they pushed down the slide, he's like, oh, from all frozen shit. And then he gets, that's what it looks like when he gets slashed in the face POV by a predator. Splatter. Off-screen violence. I don't know if the blood splatter is unrated version or
I
not.
think unless I watched the unrated version, I don't think I
No,
did, but this was
I
in it when I
definitely-
watched yesterday.
Yeah, I definitely remember that part.
Well, you might get away with it because it doesn't show the actual violence. It's
Yeah.
blood being thrown at some snow,
Yeah.
right? Here's the famous Moses DVD collection, where they they find the Predator's guns. Which I remember my reaction to this at the time was like, these guns are gigantic, man. The original Predator movie's got this little tastefully sized gun. These are out of control.
They gotta be big
And-
because the predators are big, you know.
Why do they leave them behind? I mean, they brought all kinds of other weapons. Why did they have to leave these?
Okay, I'm glad you asked, Mike, because the reason is that they're meant to earn these weapons by surviving this trial.
There you go.
Oh.
Are you being sarcastic? Because that's really what I
No,
thought.
that's
was
that's the true reason.
No, yeah, that's the whole.
yeah, it's in the movie. Yeah, but but apparently
In this
because
movie?
yeah, they
Yeah.
vaguely reference it. But basically because the Predators are the ones who are meant to take it out of there, and then it closes the chamber. Thus, if they don't survive, they won't get their guns because they died with them in hand. So but the humans pick them out early, which they're not supposed to do, and that triggers the door, and we get our first glorious, highly comedic predator running sequence.
Yeah, so basically this whole hunting thing is like initiation, right? Just like where the
Yeah.
Yeah,
predators
that's the
become
idea.
men and they get their
You-
guns.
Yeah, even though one of them is a bigger Chad than pretty much any other predator in the whole
Right.
franchise. But yeah, no, the pyramid starts revolving, and they try to block a like billion-ton thing with an ammo crate. Not a great idea. And then you get this face huggers, CGI face huggers flying
First
for the
slow
first time.
motion scene too.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
love
much
the
like
slow motion stuff, dude.
yeah, Matrix influenced. It's right in that pocket
Yeah.
of
So didn't it do that pull around too?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
flying around, and look at that composition. You got the gun and the face hugger lining up there. That's great.
That should
Yeah.
have been the poster.
And there she goes. And then this always amused me. Like, these guys rip the guns out. They have no indication of that anyone's even around. They rip the guns out. That's because the pyramid starts like moving. But like, what do they expect to do with those really?
Okay.
They know-
This
Yeah, but they
fucking
couldn't
bitch.
wait to whip those things out, man.
Okay. First of all,
What happened?
the people in the chamber above you are screaming bloody murder. What do you think is going on up there? And then the lady's like, why do you have guns? Bitch, do you have ears? What do you mean? Like, she makes such a big deal about having a gun. It's like, are you
I
going to
just
do
like-
something about it? Like,
I just
it's
like
the
to
fucking
think that
great equalizer.
I just like to think that this guy believes that he's about to shoot down the like Mayan version of Imhotep back from the grave. Like, he's like, it's my time to shine, baby. What else could it be?
I like the part when I like the part when she's like, "What are you guys doing?" And they're like, "Our job. Your job is now over." Like they knew shit was gonna fucking hit the fan.
I mean, they had no reason to believe that, but I except for the laser through the snow. that went
Also,
down.
this part bothered me a lot.
How fast
What?
the chest burster came out,
Yeah,
or what?
I was.
It
Thinking
comes
that,
out really fast, but let's just say it fast forward a couple hours, and then she's knocked out. It doesn't
Yeah.
really give you a good time frame.
Yeah.
But then immediately it's a full-grown alien attacking the predators. I'm like, how fucking fast do these things grow?
They
Or how
got
long
2
are
hours,
they
bro.
down there?
They got 2 hours.
I don't know. Going from a chest burster to a full-grown xenomorph is wild to me.
Yeah, this is a cool scene where he's like hiding with the statues, and he like turns the cloak on while he's like running over, and they're shooting at him.
Yeah,
That's fun.
that was cool.
See, what should have happened was the whaling station was functional and everybody disappears. And so they send this group of people to go find out what happened.
That's
And
way
then-
better.
And then all the xenomorphs have already fucking attacked everybody and, become full grown aliens.
Where were you 21 years ago, man? That's great. Paul Anderson would have loved that idea. But yeah, then you got the pyramid keeps moving around. They figure out every 10 minutes it like shifts. And then these, my two least favorite characters get stuck
Yeah.
together and they both die. Great.
Yeah,
immediately, too. It's not even like
Hey, you
like, "Oh."
they
completely
waste no time.
you skip the part where the humans get the guns and the predators are like, "Oh fuck," and they just take off.
No,
like,
you-
"Oh shit!"
Yeah, we had that. Yeah, it's right here.
he said the first predator running scene.
Oh,
There you go.
right.
I even screenshotted it because I was like,
we
that's
gotta
amazing.
hustle, boys. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. So Shaggy gets killed by the xenomorph who's already full grown.
Isn't that the White Lotus guy?
I don't know.
I
He's
think
like,
it is. I think
"Zoinks."
it's the guy that writes that show.
Well, he doesn't get
So-
killed, but
All right, he lasts a little bit longer than the other guy, but the
Not very
one,
though.
yeah,
Couple minutes.
these xenomorphs are actually very similar in design to the ones from Alien Resurrection. Big shocker. The previous movie to this one in the franchise, where they still had assets lying around and the same company did the special effects for the xenomorphs, they're
Yeah.
very similar to the Alien Resurrection ones. And that changes big time for the sequel, Requiem. But these are pretty much Alien Resurrection xenomorphs. There's your Predator 2 Jamaican voodoo posse net.
Yeah.
That is not quite as graphic as it is in Predator 2, but I think this is an unrated shot because that blood looks real CGI and added after the fact. Because it's not really him cut; it's just blood on the wires.
It shows him bleeding. I don't know if it shows drips. I don't remember.
I know these screenshots are from the unrated version because it has the 1904 intro.
Yeah, it shows it like cutting into him and him bleeding, but it doesn't show him like.
Also, he should be. It should be like his nose should be gushing out blood. If it's strong enough to be breaking the gun already,
PG-13.
like the gun would have smashed his head in by now.
Oh yeah. Here's Alex getting yeeted into a pyramid wall, which is great. And here we finally get our wrestling match between the Xenomorph and the Predator. And you get your iconic poster shot here. Like, this is what, when this started, that's why we came to the theater.
Which one? I was just gonna say this kind of starts the way their first interaction starts. It almost seems like the alien's going to be the quote unquote good guy, right? Like the Predator's about to waste these guys, and the alien's killing the Predator, saving them. Yeah. So because I remember watching that in the theater. I remember it was a big thing going in, like who's going to be the quote unquote good guy of this movie. Because I mean they're both technically the villains of their own films. So I did appreciate the kind of way they set that up. I remember that in the theaters, thinking like, shit, they made the fucking aliens the heroes. That didn't last long.
Big shocker. The unstoppable force of nature animal is not the sentient race are the good guys. Shocking. Yeah.
What was the name of this predator that gets killed? Because I know the big one is the Celtic. And the one that I like is the Scar Predator, but what's the other one? Do you know?
I don't remember. That's a good question.
Yeah, there's a Hot Toys of all three, right? So you guys should know.
Yeah.
But
yeah, wow. I wasn't around for those.
Well, I think they're 2015, those ones, but that's still quite a while ago. Wow. But yeah, so this is your first of two poster worthy sequences here, and but I mean, I like this because there's a little bit of CGI to get the alien to look dynamic and jump around, but a good chunk of this is Tom Woodruff Jr. in an alien costume and some guy in probably Ian White in a Predator costume just slapping each other around.
You know what I didn't like about this movie?
Oh, the Chopper Predator. That's what it is.
Okay.
I didn't like how
he died first.
I didn't like how the two predators died so close to each other. Like, I wish the second Predator would have lasted a little longer.
They died pretty quick, dude.
Yeah, they're chumps. But it's okay. Because the Scar Predator makes up for it. But yeah, man, this, like, you wouldn't get a fight like this in a new Alien or Predator movie because it sort of looks goofy. Like, some of it is just like, you can tell these two guys in costumes just like flailing around, and like then they intersperse some CGI shots, but there's a lot of costume work still at play in here. And I mean, it's crazy to say, but like, this is like basically like as close like as close to the 80s movies as like this is to us now. So
yeah, that's like wild.
This is halfway back, man. This is, you know what I mean? So like the tech, that's just what they were still doing at the time, right?
When did the first Predator came out in 82, right?
87, I
87.
think. Yeah.
Oh, so it's
a little later than Aliens, yeah.
The difference now for this is more than it would have been for me when I saw this. That's crazy.
Yeah,
wow, that's one of those you feel old things.
For
and
sure.
Mike was already a grown man when this was.
Yes, welcome to my world,
dude. Like, okay, but like like I said, I was just getting into this stuff. I was in high school. Like, Predator 2 seemed old to me, but thinking back, it's like it was 12 years old when this came out. It seemed like something. It seemed like it was ancient at the time, but that's just the mindset you're in. But yeah, man. So they're getting Wayland's struggling to get out of there. There's the Celtic Predator. Or unless that's the chopper. Is that the Celtic or the
Celtic.
Chopper?
Celtic.
Okay. Right. That's what I thought. And this is where you get your look at that. They get you show the lethality of the acid blood.
This movie is really inconsistent on when the alien blood doesn't melt their weapons.
Yeah, it is. I give you that. I was thinking that the whole time too.
He like cuts off his head and his knife is fine, and then earlier he like cuts its head and his knife melts, and he's like, okay, never mind. And like, it's super inconsistent. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh yeah,
Get it
when he cuts
together,
the
movie.
skull off. That's right.
Yeah, and then
That's true.
she's wearing it like it's not gonna like burn through her arm. Like, come on.
It oxidized already.
Yeah,
You're
it is.
thinking too hard about
Okay.
it.
It was
He
just a
rinsed it
cap.
off.
Bullshit.
Come on.
He fucking. They make it all the way to the
Look.
end of the movie, and the little
Hey.
thing still has fucking acid blood. Get out of here.
This is like the
That's
Mona
true.
Lisa. Look at this shot. This is fine art, man. The Predator just throwing the
Oh.
alien down the hallway.
All the fucking fight scenes are pretty peak. They're pretty great in this movie, for sure.
Like, first of all, he swung him around and smacked his head into like pyramid walls, and then he throws him. It's pretty good.
Dude,
When I
him
was
throwing
watch-
him,
when I
him
was
swinging
watching
him by
that-
the tail was badass.
Yeah.
I remember thinking that was badass.
When I was watching that yesterday, for some reason it jumped out to me. I just pictured the Batman versus Superman scene when Batman's swinging him around.
Oh
with
yeah,
that, it's like that's exactly what this
that
is.
is true, dude.
They even had some of the scenes where like they do the slow motion running at each other, just like in BBS.
Yeah,
Man, for a while, I really considered that we cover this movie and the sequel together, and I'm so glad we didn't do that because we're already an hour in. But but yeah, you just got some CGI acid blood getting thrown out of the tail, and look at this. See, like this is some 2004 shit. Like they literally poured acid on a foam replica of the Predator's armor. This would be a CGI shot in the current year.
Yeah.
You know
That's
what I mean?
cool.
Like
that is
they're
good.
actually melted some shit, and you got the little monkey skull or whatever it is in the frame there to give you some context what part of the armor you're looking at. And we got the birth of the grid alien, just so we can recognize one of the aliens here. He gets the grid burned into his head from the Predator.
Is that
net.
actually what they call it? Like, is
Yeah,
it
that's
considered
what the Hot
Predator? I
Toys is
didn't know
called.
that. Yeah,
the
that's
hot?
funny.
It's an early Hot Toys. I think it's
Yeah.
2006 or something.
Wow.
Yeah. And Waylon's like, I'm too sleepy. Leave me behind.
I'm tired.
This shot looked like that. You know that meme of the guy waking up and the lights in his eyes in the middle
Yeah.
of the night? That's
Yeah.
what this looked like to me.
I'm glad they like he's sacrificing himself in this picture, like to get
Yeah.
for them to get away. And
Yeah.
I'm glad they actually run away, because there's
Yeah.
a ton of movies where the guy is like the point of him letting himself die is a distraction so they can get away, and the people are just standing there watching,
Yeah.
and that bugs the shit out of me. I'm
That's
like,
a
that guy
good
just
call.
wasted his life for you guys to watch him die.
Well,
Bro.
here we.
I'm
ahead,
watching. If a predator's about to kill a guy, I'm watching. Bro.
Well, here we have a callback to Predator 2, where in Predator 2, the city hunter
Oh yeah.
scans a lady and realizes she's pregnant and doesn't kill her, which is a scene you'll never see in another Predator movie again because dark timeline. But in this one, he notices that the guy's got leukemia or whatever, so he doesn't want to kill him. And Lance Henriksen's like, "Don't you turn your back on me."
Yeah, that part's funny.
Yeah, and he barely toasts the back of his dreadlocks, but like that's an awesome frame. Like, look at that.
Yeah.
That's iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you get your 2-foot claws right
Those
through
are
Lance
ridiculous.
Henriksen.
Look at that.
That's the shit,
Yeah.
dude.
And now I know for a fact that this little piece of blood coming out of Lance Henriksen's mouth is unrated cut only.
Oh, that looks terrible.
Yeah,
Wow.
that looks. Yeah.
Yeah, that's unrated version only. You guys missed out on the good stuff.
Wow.
Promise.
And here's you got Raoul trying to climb through. He's trying to avoid getting squished like Indiana Jones. These shots stress me out with the pyramid blocks almost squished the guy.
Yeah, those. Yeah, same.
Yeah.
That happened in the Mummy.
Yeah.
That same thing. So that's why when you said the Mummy, I was like, oh, it does have some like similar things.
See, for me, this is like the third reference to Indiana Jones. You know, you have the stepping on the thing, you have them taking the guns, and it all collapses on them, and then you have this. It
Yep,
all
and
came
it's-
back to Indiana Jones for me.
Yep, and it's 3 years before Indiana Jones did Aliens too. You know what I mean? Like it all comes around.
Extraterrestrials.
That looked like the Crystal Skull alien.
It did look
But,
like the crystal.
But yeah, so you know this guy's such a Mayan genius that you got to see the Predator do some cool kills. There's this open xenomorph skull that's the first time you ever see something like that. And he marks himself because he's like, I won the game. The other two guys are dead. So I guess I get to claim
Dude.
victory because no one's watching.
Dude, I think that was probably my favorite, or one of my favorite parts of the movie, where he just
Yeah.
like slices that alien.
Yeah. When I don't remember which Call of Duty you were able to create your emblems first, but for the longest time, might have been Black Ops 2. For the longest time, that was my emblem that I made for my character, was that Mark of the Warrior.
That's awesome.
That's
And
how
then-
much I love that shit.
And then they put the Predator into Call of Duty and it jumped the shark. But yeah, he marks himself. They somehow could just see him through the wall. Their little hole in the wall. They can watch what he's doing. And then Raul
I'm
Bova
gonna get that
reads
tattooed on my ass. I promise you. I'm getting that mark tattooed somewhere on me, dude. Next time I hang out with Fern, bro, me and
There you
Fern
go.
are gonna get that tattoo somewhere.
Yeah.
Matching
And you get
tattoo.
you get
Yeah.
the slightest hint that the face hugger is watching him while his mask is off. He slipped and took his mask off without killing all the aliens. And then you get this the mummy-esque hieroglyph flashback while Raul explains the whole history because he's reading it off the wall. I love this shot.
Yeah. To me, I know you guys are memeing it and everything, but like to me, there's still no real backstory for the alien, right? Like Prometheus kind of did it, but is that canon or?
Yeah, it's all
Okay.
Prometheus, Alien Covenant. Basically, it's sad to say, but basically, David used the black ooze, which was made by the engineers, he played with that a bit and made the xenomorph. That's pretty much where the canon is at right now.
See,
But we never got that movie. But
Yeah,
it's
I know.
amazingly, recently there's word that the Ridley Scott man himself is doing another Alien movie. So who knows, man? He's like 82 years old. I want crazy Ridley Scott to do another Alien movie because he's out of his mind, and it'll be awesome.
To me, this always seemed like the most like made sense background story for both of them. That like, you know, the aliens are the craziest monsters, and it would make sense that the Predator, that's like the peak thing that the Predator could hunt, and we praise the Predators like gods because we would have.
Dude,
then,
you know how smart that Dark Horse guy probably felt when he came back to the meeting and suggested Alien versus Predator. He's like, it's like exactly what you just said. It's like the ultimate prey versus the
Yeah.
ultimate predator. But
Really? Eddie, there's
Dean-
only one God, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't look like that.
Dean, you don't
dress like that.
you don't know if the comics were good, Dean. You never read them.
That was
No, I
like
don't. But this scene was so cool with all the aliens running up the pyramid. There's like 10,000 of them. I was like, yo, this is peak cinema.
Yeah. It's
I
like I
also
think
like
you.
I also like how this is how they explain how the Mayans got wiped out.
Is it? I missed that. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, he says an
Yeah,
entire
'cause
civilization
yeah.
wiped out in a blink of an
Yep.
eye.
Yeah, it wasn't gringos bringing the plague over and stuff like that.
Jesus.
It was the dang aliens. But you know, it's like they I think these three guys spawned too many xenomorphs. Eh? Like when you see that it zooms out and there's like 1,000 of them climbing the pyramid.
Yeah.
It's like,
This is like zombies in Call of Duty. They're
Yeah.
like in level 50 or something.
This is
Yeah.
way cooler than smallpox blankets. Which,
yeah.
can I also say, makes zero fucking sense. Germ
Oh my
theory
God.
wasn't even
Listen.
a thing for another like 150 years.
Dean, I don't know how, but I'm sure your line of thinking is going to get this video removed from YouTube. So you should,
You're probably not wrong.
yeah, so you have this, you know, the base, and this is, you know, this is how the original movie ends, where Arnie was able to run away from this nuclear explosion pretty easily. So if it took out the whole Mayan civilization, that's their bad as far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned. And yeah, we got the goofball. He realizes he's screwed because he shoots like one face hugger, and then he realizes there's like 100 more. He probably already has an embryo inside him, anyways. This is a weird shot. You know, they jump this chasm and you can like see up to the surface, which like, why do you guys even need that hole? Just, you know, like, Alex knows how to
Yeah.
rappel down a wall like that.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Where's that crack? But yeah, the whole thing split somewhere. And here's the death of Raoul. He falls over
Wow.
the cliff, and she grabs his bottle cap, and she's like, "Well, anyways, I'm gonna carry on with my day." That was interesting.
I'm gonna go talk to an alien or a predator.
Yeah,
They
There's
don't
also an
really
alien.
explain why he keeps that bottle cap on him. I always thought that was stupid.
well, because it was a very disappointing find at the beginning of the movie. You know, when he's in digging, he finds that, and he's like, he thought that was like his big break, but it turned out to be nothing, right? Because people were smoking cigarettes in that cave in the 50s.
So what lesson is he trying to remind himself of
I don't
by
know.
keeping
Keep
that
trying.
bottle cap?
And you're
That
telling me
life
that's
is
the first
pointless and there's
time
no
he
point in
found a bottle
trying
cap?
anything?
The point is they sponsored the movie.
I was gonna say, is this
Well-
an official sponsor?
Well, you know, it's kind of like they right now they think they're discovering a Mayan pyramid, but really 100 years ago, some 1904 guys were already there. So like it's sort of the same thing. You know what I mean? Like it's not really just new discovery. But then, so Alex runs to the Scar Predator and tries to give back the gun because that's what Raoul said is a good idea. Give back the gun to the guards. 'Cause
No,
they're the
she
prison
said it was a
guards.
good idea. He was against it.
Okay, well, Dean is the scholar of AVP.
I still don't know where they came to that conclusion. Like, I get it from our point of view. You guys explained that it makes sense, but I don't understand narratively where they realized that was the thing.
So he's explaining the past, right? Well,
Yeah.
the predators were revered because they hunted the aliens for sport. And she's like, okay, well, the aliens are killing everybody and the predators are here hunting for sport. They're not hunting us. So let's give them this item they're after. It made sense to me.
Yeah, they said the enemy of your enemy is your friend. So in her mind, like she said it like 3 times. So in her
Dude,
mind,
I
she
read-
thought-
they did, but that all came after we have to give them their guns back.
I
I
referenced
kind
that
of saw
quote.
it as like the alien or the predators are attacking them only because they have the weapons. Otherwise, they'd leave them alone and attack the aliens.
That's what they're after. Yeah, that's the ultimate. That's the test. So that makes sense. But because like let's face it, humans are pretty weak sauce compared to the xenomorph. But here we got this.
Are they
you know,
though? Because the humans win in all of these movies.
Only with guns. Guns are the great equalizer.
Dean
Dean knows all about it. Yeah, but
Hey, God made man. Colt made them equal. Dude.
Also, I call bullshit because Arnold did not win by using guns.
we're talking about xenomorph
Yeah, but
versus
that's
human, not
He
predator.
did win
versus
by
human.
using guns, Mike. The
Did he?
these guns.
Point to Eddie.
All right, so you know another alien resurrection xenomorph like scares Alex. Look at that, it's putting his gross little thing in her face, referencing alien food.
Story of my
Ew,
life.
it's gross, man.
Yeah, somebody tells me she's been here before.
Yeah, she's
Take a look at
Like,
this.
why is it smelly?
Jesus.
And then you got some CGI xenomorph. Did you guys? Okay, am I alone? Like, did you guys ever play Alien vs Predator 2 on PC back in the day? Because like basically it was a FPS shooter, a first-person shooter where you could like when you play as the Predator, you had like multiple vision modes where you could like swipe and like I was like you press F key or something and there was one that could see xenomorphs and one that was like the heat vision one for humans, which xenomorphs did not show up on. So like this felt like Paul Anderson has played the game, man. He's put the xenomorph
Yeah.
Yeah, because
highlight
it
vision on.
switches visions.
Yeah. Yeah, like that. It's a critically acclaimed first-person shooter from 1998. It might be a little, not everybody got to it, but it's a good one. But the third one is they got rid of the numbers and just called it Alien versus Predator, and that one's on 360 and PS3, and it's very good as well. But and you can get it on Xbox One for like $10 right now, and it has Lance Henriksen in it, so it's worth it. But anyways, here's he's just Scar Predator shooting at the aliens with his auto turret because he got the gun back. Queen screams to all her minions to come back, You got the grid alien. Here's her call and goes back, and they retreat. And then here's where you get your funny interactions with the human and predator. Which, look at the scale. You hire a massive dude, put like more armor on him than anyone alive has ever worn in their life, and you see him in the same shot as her, and it's like he is 3 times her mass.
Right? Look at the size of his head. Jesus.
It's crazy. And here's the shot that I remember over 20 years later that sent the theater into laughter. And it's out of focus because they knew it was in focus. It tested even worse with the audience. So out of focus. Like somebody, who was it in the comments that said the exact same thing? They remember everybody laughing at this part when they run away. Like I was like, it reminded me of like the live action Ninja Turtles or something, man. Like it looked crazy.
So is she meant to be playing that character that's in the comics? I'm assuming that Machiko or whatever.
Okay, so I'm glad I wish we're going to talk about collectibles when we're done here. You guys aren't allowed to leave for at least another 20 minutes. Hate to break it to you, but that is so that is, she's not that character from the comics, but that figure. So like this is a very early Hot Toys. That's like a sexy lady who's wearing Predator armor, which you're never going to see that again, guys. Just so you know. So you should find that figure if you want it. But they sort of reference this film in that she's wearing she has like a xenomorph skull gauntlet, but that's about as far as it goes. It's a separate character. But it was a couple years after this movie, and they wanted to tie it in a little bit.
That's cool.
Here's one of the few shots of the xenomorph that's fully CGI, and I feel like you can tell.
Yeah.
It's 3 of these guys crawl up to the queen and like see what she wants them to do, and they're just a little bit too loose. You can tell that there's not like a 40-year-old Tom Woodruff Jr. in a costume there. But there's a little bit of a legacy here. Like Tom Woodruff Jr. First wore a xenomorph suit in Aliens, and he wears it in this. And he is actually the Pred alien in the sequel.
Oh wow!
And he is like, I know how to wear a creature costume, so we're gonna let me do it a few times. But he's not in the original movie. But yeah, this is a CGI alien. It's one of very few shots, and it stands out like a sore thumb to me, if I'm being honest. But it doesn't look bad, but you can tell it's like the movement is a little more fluid than you'd get with an actor in a suit. Yeah. And then so they start stabbing the queen to use her own acid blood to release her from the shackles. There's your hero pose with the skull that should be burning her arm off. Yeah.
Also, it feels like the xenomorph head shrunk in size. I was like, I feel like they're bigger than that, but maybe I'm going crazy.
Yeah, it's probably pretty close.
It's not full grown yet, Dean. Come on, it's only been alive for 20 minutes.
You're not wrong.
So, so I didn't rewatch it because I pretty much remember everything about this movie. But did he not fall off a cliff?
No, the alien grabbed him on that
Okay,
scene.
pulled him away. All right, okay, that makes sense. So
Yeah, she falls, and he goes to grab her, and while he's trying to help her up, a xenomorph drags him away.
Okay. So we get our goodbye to Raul, and he's like, he stresses, an idea that you hear in the original movie and in Aliens and Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection, that the worst thing that can happen is if these xenomorphs get back to the surface. You know what I mean? Like, that's where we're always trying to avoid, even though here this movie takes place on Earth, and it sort of makes all the Alien movies null and void. Because imagine if Sigourney Weaver knew, oh yeah, I mean, these things were on Earth like 100 years ago, no big deal, don't worry, you don't need to kill yourself or anything to stop it from happening. Like, they've already been there a few times.
Which is also, they also mentioned that in Prometheus, don't they? Idris Elba says, no matter what, I'm not letting these things get back to Earth.
Yeah, which is Ridley Scott saying that this movie never happened. Anyway, check out in a couple months on FX Alien Earth, where the aliens come back to Earth. But yeah, she shoots him because he's got a xenomorph in him, and then it busts out anyways, and the Predator very coolly breaks its neck. Because because that's what you do. And the queen's rampaging and got out of her shackles there, which is not supposed to happen. That's game breaking. And you have some more running Predator and Alex, which is funny. And the whole, he put his Arnold bomb in there, and the whole pyramid. He just toasts the whole mine pyramid, and then they rocket sled away from the fire.
This scene is so fucking egregious. There's no fucking way that this sled moves this fast under any circumstances, but all of a sudden it's a literal fucking rocket sled outpacing a fucking nuclear explosion. Then they rocket out of the hole. It goes fucking tumbling through the fucking whaling village, and immediately she's up on her feet running. It's like,
Great.
what
Pure cinema.
are we doing here?
Yeah.
Not
And
even a
so-
sprained ankle, brother.
Yeah, that's why she gets the accolades from the Predators. But so here's a real deep nerd criticism of this movie, right? And I would say hold your beer, guys, because it got worse. But the real Predator nerds say what this movie got wrong was that they molded the face of the Predator. Keep in mind, this is a practical mask here. They molded the face with the mandibles out and open, and that's why you have these fugly looking flaps moving around.
The
here.
labias.
And the big nerds are like, you're supposed to mold it closed, guys, and use more flexible material. And so like that's where the big Predator nerd divide is here, because like, why you guys molded it open? That's so stupid. First day on the job.
Wow.
But
Wow. Jesus Christ.
What
But,
I thought was weird in this scene is that he just yells at her, like he just screams in her face. I'm like, well, what are you
Yeah.
screaming at her for, bro?
but he found a single drop of alien blood to give her the marks. Yeah. And then the queen bursts out, and this is one of my favorite parts. He's just like, Jesus Christ.
Holy fucking shit! That'd be so funny if like he only speaks Predator, but the second this happens, he's like, "Oh fuck!"
Well, that happens in Predator 2, right? In Predator 2, Danny Glover
Yeah,
takes
when
the
they learn
mask
to
off and he's
talk.
like, "You ugly," and then the Predator says "motherfucker," which is my least favorite part of the movie. But here was the time to do it. We just have him say "holy shit."
Fuck! Yeah, the look on his face is priceless, dude.
There's also this little part when he's marking her on her cheek. When he, like, right before they get that close up in, and he's marking her, you could tell that he completely fucked up, and the first line is all fucking crooked. And then they do the close up, and it's like all perfect.
Yeah, you get one shot. It's acid blood. So yeah, but yeah. So like we're gonna wrap it up pretty quick here. He throws some ninja stars at the alien queen, takes chunks off. Alien queen rampages around the village, and they wrap her up in a water tower.
Also, I want to mention about him using that ninja star. I
Yeah,
really appreciate a character using their weapon in the movie more than once. Because a lot of movies, they always use their fucking weapons like once and then never use it again. And they use all the other shit, and it's like,
yeah.
why don't you just continue doing that? And he
And I
does
didn't
that. He
get-
just continues throwing that shit, and it's like, yes, exactly. Keep doing that.
I didn't get a good screenshot of it, but like it's a much cooler ninja star than the one in Predator 2. Like that's they didn't really change how the spear looks, but the ninja star they made it like way crazier. The one in
Yeah.
Predator 2 is basically just a disc.
Yeah, it's
But,
a disc. Yeah.
Yeah. But the queen gets smashed through this 1904 shack, which is pretty cool.
Who's that hanging?
I think that's the
That's
Predator
her.
because Alex would be. Oh, it's her because
That's her. She's got the
you'd see the
alien
alien head,
Yeah.
which she'd be dead from that for sure. But never mind that. And
Because she stabbed him with the spear at that point.
yeah,
So the spear was holding on to her. Yeah.
it's almost like I finally got lazy with the screen caps near the end here. But yeah, man. So like you get your second like growling
you
at
did-
each other shot.
Oh, you didn't screen grab it.
Nah.
The
What-
the
when
part
he
where
he
The
flies
part-
like a ninja.
Yeah, when he does like the 360
Oh, then they
backward
stab him
stab.
backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so out of place.
He
Like,
jumps
bro,
like
what the
30 feet into the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he gets horribly stabbed through the chest, but you get the unmasked predator and the alien queen snarling at each other just like you had earlier in the movie, because that's what the movie's called. It's like when Peter Griffin says, "Hey, you said the title."
Yeah,
It's pretty much that's what you get. And they wrap some chains around the queen, and the water tower drags her to her doom, exactly like in Aliens when she gets
Yeah.
sucked out the airlock.
I don't think this kills her.
Yeah, I was
No,
thinking,
but
I
she
was like,
won't-
Can I drown?
Yeah, but she's just gonna be walking around the ocean floor forever. Like, it's pretty much affected. It's taken her off the board.
The
You know?
pressure would have crushed her.
No, they could survive in the vacuum of space. Like, I don't think this is a death sentence for this creature.
Dude,
point.
if
They're like
Alien
essentially immortal.
if Alien Earth,
Maybe it freezes it again.
if Alien Earth starts out
Oh, that's
with like
true.
an alien queen on the ocean floor, I'm gonna give them all the money.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
But yeah. So the Predator says he is the chosen one. You must train him, Alex. And then the big spaceship shows back up, and you get this elder Predator replicating the ending of Predator 2, where instead of giving Danny Glover a pirate pistol, he gives Alex one of these Predator's staffs, which probably is alien technology and you shouldn't give to a human compared to a 1904 1700s pistol. You know what I mean? Like, you're really messing with the timelines giving her this. Because, it's got that nanotech.
I love how they're just like, all right, peace out. Good luck trying to figure out how to get back to
I
civilization.
feel like she
Yeah,
should have
right.
went with him. I feel like she should
Right,
have went with him. That would have been cooler.
Yeah,
Well,
for sure.
Well, in the comic book, Aliens versus Predator versus Terminator, which takes place after Alien Resurrection, Clone Ripley gets brought into a Predator clan, and she is hanging out on the spaceship with them.
Oh wow.
But yeah, man. But so, like, they leave her there, and I think it shows her like fire up a tractor or something, as if. Who knows who's left on the ship?
Tractor.
Right?
'cause
It's
they
like,
have-
is
Yeah,
there
that's what
a crew on the ship that could sail her back, or
That's what I'm thinking. Like, I was thinking, I was like, she's now stranded in the middle of nowhere. She's gonna die.
If she gets to the ship, she could probably survive long enough till a rescue party shows up. It's a big ship. But
they're like,
Yeah,
where
'cause
is
they
everybody?
did hint
Like, you're
earlier
never
that-
gonna believe this.
They had hinted that other crews were going to show up for this.
and
Oh.
spoiler alert, it is confirmed in a later sequel that she did in fact make it back to civilization and get interrogated by the government. But you
Bob
guys,
Barnes says most believe she freezes to death.
well, she didn't, because in a later sequel it's proven that, debatable.
What
but
sequel?
we're gonna get to it.
Oh,
Eddie. We're
okay,
almost there. All right. But so you get your awesome ending scene,
Okay.
your Marvel post-credits scene of the Xenomorph chest burster coming out,
This-
and it's half Predator.
I had a huge problem with this. So the Predator knew he was infected. Because
Yeah, but
he knew that her friend was infected. So, like, it goes to show that he would know for sure I have a chest burster in me.
okay, but except
So
for the
he
fact
either
but
So
every
he-
every human who that happens to is in denial about it to the point of endangering all their loved ones. But go ahead.
right. So he either thinks he's going to survive, and maybe predators have a way of getting rid of a chest burster while it's still inside you, or he willfully endangered all his friends and cohorts by bringing this thing on board. And he
Yeah.
died, which is even worse because he couldn't tell anybody he has a chest burster, which is what we ended up with. So it's like,
Yeah.
bro, you either fucking kill yourself immediately as a predator because you don't know
Okay.
you're going to survive to warn your friends, or
Okay. So,
like
okay,
that
so
was such an irresponsible thing for him to do.
okay, Dean, you got to think about the
You're
order
assuming
the
they're
movies.
friends.
You got to think about the order the movies came out in, right? Because the previous movie to this is Alien Resurrection, in which it shows that humans have achieved the technology of removing a chest burster and keeping the host alive. So, like, if humans can do it, the Predator can probably do it. But yeah, I see your point, and they should have done their due diligence and at least scan him before bringing him onto the ship. What can you do? What can you do?
Yeah, that
They're
makes even
dummies.
less sense that they
Yeah.
wouldn't have some kind of fucking protocol for this.
That's on
Yeah.
the elder, man.
All right. Well, yeah. So that's the end of the movie. It's great. You guys can hate all you want. It's amazing, and I don't know. Rob Barnes is still here. I appreciate you chiming in the chat. And yes, Rob. And when the aliens swim underwater in CGI in Alien 4, it's fucking awesome. I agree.
Yeah, they
But,
should have actually killed this queen. There's no way she dies. They're not deep enough in the ocean where pressure is gonna like kill her.
Yeah,
They're
but
like
maybe
on
she'll
shore.
maybe she'll just freeze into a little ball of ice for like 20 years, like the one in Alien Romulus. But anyways, here so after that piece of here's okay. I wish we had time to do the sequel in the same episode. But like weird thing about Alien versus Predator Requiem, this shot is the movie opens with this. The sequel opens with this shot, right? But this is actually a different shot. They felt the need. They're like, that chest burster is not exactly the Pred Alien chest burster we want. So they reshot it with a different model. So weird point. But the sequel has a different shot here, and they redesigned the little chest burster. And we'll get a little bit of behind the scenes stuff here. Here's a Predator drinking some sody or something. He's on the job. It's the
smoking
elder.
hookah.
Yeah, that's how they feed. It's like what C-3PO needs. Anthony Daniels needs some juice or something while he's out in the desert. They give him a little long straw like that.
Sipping on gin and juice.
Yeah. And then here's a fun one. So this is actually the 1/3 model of the Queen that was used for that sort of like egg chamber. This was up for auction at Prop Store in 2018 with an estimate of 20,000 to 30,000 British pounds. Is it worth it?
Did you bid on it?
I did not. Was not aware of it. But yeah,
It
this is
would
that
be.
big scene with the egg sack there, and you can see like you can with contrasty lighting, you can get away with a lot, right? Like that head doesn't look that great considering it's in the
Yeah.
movie, right? But of course, all the face close-ups are that original 1-to-1 James Cameron model. And you have to log in to know what the actual final hammer price was, but the estimate was 20 to 30,000 British pounds. And this 1/3 model was produced by ADI, which is Amalgamated Dynamics. That's just Tom Woodruff Jr.'s company, who, like I said, he worked on Aliens and a few of the sequels. And here's what I was talking about, what's the latest confirmation in Alien vs. Predator canon that the events of AVP are in fact canon? Well, it's in the by far shittiest Predator sequel called The Predator, where you can see Olivia Munn here at Area 51 looking at Alex's staff in a case.
Oh,
Wow.
I did not notice that.
No, me
So she
neither.
they at least found her frozen dead body if she didn't make it.
This is for sure the worst one out of all.
Oh, by far.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
And that-
Jake Busey, Gary Busey's son from Gary Busey's in Predator 2, and his son is playing his character's son. It's a stupid movie, but Olivia Munn is pretty
I
great.
didn't even notice that.
What
either.
movie is this?
This is called
The
The
Predator?
Predator. I think it's from like 2018 or 19.
Yeah, it
But
came
it's-
out a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's definitely the worst Predator sequel. Even worse than Prey, I think Eddie will agree.
Although
But,
Thomas Jane was pretty good in it, I will say I did love Thomas Jane's character in this movie.
Hey,
Yeah.
Prey was pretty good.
Yeah, it's all right, but there's at least it showed that Native Americans were still misogynist back in the day.
Dude,
We don't want
Jake-
to.
This is the guy from Starship Troopers. I didn't know he was
Yeah.
Gary Busey's
Yeah.
son.
Yeah,
That's
man.
fucking
yeah.
wild.
So he's playing his character's son from Predator
That's
2.
crazy. That's cool.
And even Prey references Predator 2 by showing the 1700s pistol, right? So basically,
Yeah.
Predator 2 is the nexus of all Predator content. But
That's
but,
cool though. That makes me. Doesn't that make you like the movie like 1% more? The fact that that
Dude,
staff
remember-
is in there.
remember the
Kind of
end
makes
when
me want
they're
to watch it tomorrow.
Remember the end when there's like a predator mech suit and it's like the dumbest thing you've ever seen in your
Yeah.
life. But
Never mind.
yeah,
Dude, Mike,
exactly.
if we did watch it, we could go on a freaking rampage about how the progression in human evolution becomes the hard R. The
Oh man. Yeah. So anyways, so like basically final verdict. This is obviously a 4 or 5 from everybody in the room, right?
Yeah, easily.
dude, it's a
It's a
yeah,
5
at
out of 5 for
minimum.
me.
Yeah, it's a 5 out of 5 for me, I think. But I just love this movie, dude.
Okay. Who actually hates it?
I don't think anyone hates it.
Yeah, I don't hate it. Unlike some of the other ones we've done, I have fun with this one. Like I enjoy it. Like I said, I never turn it off when I come across it. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's a I guess if we try and take the fun out of it, I would knock it down to maybe like a 3, but
Okay.
it's fun.
Well, basically it's they just don't make them like they used to.
No.
And Freddy vs. Jason is fucking amazing too if you want to
Yeah.
rewatch that. But it's right around the same time there. Yeah. It's got solid rewatchability. So I want to get into collectibles a little bit. Okay, so this is just a poster, but like I remember going to the mall in 2004 with my buddy Tim, and we saw this dang poster at HMV, and we were like, "That's the most glorious thing I've ever fucking seen in my entire life." And I'm pretty sure we both got it. I don't know what happened to mine anymore.
It
But,
is kind of perfect.
It's pretty cool. I kind of want to know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can probably find it out there, but that's a cheap one. And then so McFarlane, this is back when McFarlane had basically no articulation or like 5
Yeah.
POA basically,
Yeah.
but they had a massive series for this film where you had all these diorama sequences. You got Birth of the Hybrid here. Look at that! Come on,
That's
man! That
amazing.
you put that up on your fireplace.
Yeah.
Centerpiece Thanksgiving table.
If I would found that in a shop, I would for sure buy that.
Oh, for sure. I did. I remember. And then, like, here's the Predator smashing the alien's head into all the pyramid columns. Like, come on, man. It's good
Wow.
stuff. And then, an alien queen shot that never happened in the movie. And then you got that one. That's the only one of these I had. And I remember buying it in like 2009 at a comic shop. And I thought it was amazing. Where the alien's lifting up the Predator and snarling in his face. That's good
pretty
stuff.
sick.
Yeah, those are maybe like one like a little bit bigger than 3 3/4 figures, but not much. And McFarlane even did a couple 12-inch ones, which were sort of pre-posed, which look way better than they had any right to for like $40 at the time.
Yeah.
You know, since we're talking about collectibles,
Yeah.
I love this movie so much that after watching it earlier, I was like, I wonder if there's any like actual movie props on eBay for like kind of cheap.
Did you
Like
find anything?
I didn't find any.
Because like
I was
you know
like-
that one we showed at Prop Store, that Alien Queen is pretty expensive. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Like maybe they have like a one of the Predators dreads or something.
oh yeah, maybe like a pyramid block or something. You might
Yeah.
like silly stuff like that you can find for cheap. But I thought like I remember seeing these in like the record stores and stuff at the time. And that's how ancient this movie is. And I remember wanting this stuff so bad, but it seemed expensive to me at the time in high school. I did not get any of it. And what else we got here? So that's McFarlane. Then we got there's a whole bunch of NECA stuff starting in 2016, like I think for this specific movie. This is a Rivalry 2-pack where the Predator once again throwing the alien around and smashing his head into stuff. But obviously NECA has covered a bunch of this.
I hope they redo these and go
Yeah.
back and revisit this whole movie.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
thinking the same thing. Yeah.
Because like they have the NECA Pred alien and like it's basically a 5 POA figure. Like make a new
Yeah.
one. But yeah, then so like I feel like this movie really helps sort of tell the story of how primitive Hot Toys used to be. Because here we have the 2006 Grid Alien. So like
Wow.
the box format is totally different, and it's if you have one of these, We were talking about that spear tip. It's in that the Predator movie, Rob. But yeah, like this, if you see this has a ton of soft plastic parts that are does not handle well over time and starts getting greasy and gumming up. And like this is one of those ones people worry about melting over time. Like they use a lot of soft plastics and rubbers and stuff, and they don't hold up too well. But
Does anybody know, was this like Hot Toys' first official license?
it's got to be close because like you know what I mean? Like when's the unlicensed George Lucas? Like 2002 or something. So
Yeah.
like it's in that pocket,
Right?
right?
And they milked it to death too, right? I mean, they made a shit ton of this stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, this is too. And it's funny how you like look at the branding down there. Like it's very doesn't look that different from what they're currently
Yeah.
doing, right? But and then but you had to wait quite a while for the Predator. So here's the Scar Predator, which I actually picked up last year
I saw
locally. But this is 2012. So 6 years after you got the Grid Alien, you could get the Scar Predator, and luckily Hot Toys had made a lot of progress by then. I don't think the unmasked head looks that good, but the masked version and all the armor details are pretty nice. And you had a chrome
Doesn't have
finish
the
on the blades.
labias.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's molded
Wow.
closed.
Yeah.
But yeah, like but the claws, they do give you three different length for the arm, the gauntlet claws, so you don't have to have the preposterous ones on, and they're all sort of chromed, which looks pretty nice, and they have a ninja star that's chromed as well, I'm pretty
Do you
sure.
still own it?
Yeah, it's right here.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, man.
Really quick, they do have a one of the pyramid walls for
Wow, I called it, eh?
$2,300.
Well, that's overpriced. That's
not-
overpriced because you wouldn't. That's more than you'd pay for a piece of the original Death Star. But so that's how you know it's overpriced. But yeah, that's cool because there would have been a lot of set deck of pyramid walls, like piles of it that they probably literally smashed it up at the end of the shoot because no one
Bro,
else
you
was
could
ever going
get-
to use it.
You get a piece of an actual pyramid wall for that much money.
It's more authentic. Yeah.
They
And
also
then,
have like a whole bunch of like xenomorph costume pieces for like 40
Yeah.
bucks.
That's cool. And then a few years even later after that, 2015, you got the Elder. This is the guy who gives her the spear at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
It's still
cool.
10 years ago.
That's cool, dude. I want Hot Toys to redo all these too.
Yeah, the face looks a little more detailed than the Scar Predator.
It's got a
And,
goatee too. Do
yeah.
any of them have a goatee? I think he's the only one.
Well, this guy's supposed to be like 600-700 years old. So like
Yeah.
that's what happens after a while.
When
But
was
the
this
red-
one made?
2015.
This one looks way better than the last one.
Yeah. And but this is like the red cape's pretty cool. You don't see that a lot on Predators, and like when he turns away from her, you get an awesome like sort of cape flutter in the movie where he slow motion walks away from her. So it's pretty iconic.
Yeah.
His mask, I don't think you see it in the movie, but they have it there. Yeah, but like Predator 2, like all these ancillary Predators that have like one shot. Like NECA made every Predator from the ending of Predator 2. There's like 8 different ones that show up right at the end, and like all those got like NECA figures, for example. And this is sort of along those same lines where you just
I
had
think
a few
I have
seconds.
all of those except for one, maybe from the Predator 2 series.
Right. But there's a bunch of other ones like Eddie mentioned what's her name from the comic book that was like an early Hot Toys that was like 2005 or 4.
Yeah.
That has movie branding and some comparable accessories, but that's about it, guys. So
Sideshow did a bunch of statues too.
Oh, yeah, and
there's
there's-
a Scar. I think there's 2 Scar Predator statues, and there's a Machiko statue.
there's so
Um,
much.
yeah,
And,
and
like I
then,
couldn't we couldn't do it all.
Prime 1 obviously just made Scar, Chopper, and Celtic Predator in 1/3.
Which is like what are those retail like three grand or something?
Yeah, like around
Yeah.
2,400, but after tax and shipping, yeah.
I love this movie. I don't think I $3,000 statue
Yeah.
of this movie. I don't know
They're
who these
pretty
guys
sick,
are.
dude.
But yeah, and I think the Prime One did Wolf from the sequel pretty recently too. I think.
Yeah.
Um, Here we go. Rob Barnes knows the whole lore. He says the average Yautja lived to be 600 to 800 years old. So I was pretty much right on the money there, basically, without, it's in there somewhere. But the old dude is close to 1,000 years old. Okay,
Yeah,
good to know.
She Predator Machiko. That's the
Yeah.
official Hot Toys. That's hilarious.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. That's a good one. You'll never see anything like that again, Dean. I promise you. But but yeah. Any last thoughts on EVP from anyone here?
I mean, when you said earlier that James Cameron and Ridley Scott thought that it did bad things for the franchise, I mean, it got me and Fern into the franchise. So, I mean,
Yep.
maybe to the original, people that loved Alien or the original Predator, maybe it wasn't their thing, but I'm pretty sure it got a whole generation of us interested in this stuff,
Yeah.
So I love it. I would not even love Predators or Aliens if it wasn't for this movie. So yeah,
Dude,
I love it a lot.
There's a great clip from I'm pretty sure it's from the red carpet of The Hobbit in 2012, and like James Cameron's rocking up, and this reporter goes up to him and he's like, "Man, when are you gonna get back to the Aliens franchise? These idiots are really messing it up with this AVP stuff." And then James Cameron like stares at him, like totally silent for like 8 seconds, and he's like, "You almost just convinced me to make another Aliens movie, but
Dang.
I got other stuff
Dang,
to
that's
do."
pretty-
And then I
pretty
get
good.
Avatar 5 coming out, but yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing. I guess since they're getting back on track, both Alien and Predator, to have them revisit Alien versus Predator.
They are.
Oh, are they?
Well, Predator Badlands, if you analyze the trailer deeply, there's
Yeah.
Wayland Yutani vehicles in it, and you see an android very similar to Andy from Romulus. So it's sort of like they wanted to remind you of Romulus because that's a recent movie. So we'll see how far they take it.
Do you hate the look of that Predator as much as I do?
It's pretty
That's
bad.
terrible.
That's bad.
With his freaking ponytail?
Terrible.
Yeah, I just like the best parts of this movie are the Aliens versus the Predator parts.
Go
And
figure.
I felt like it took way too long to get there. So it felt a bit rushed. It was still a fun, enjoyable movie. But it's like, bro, if you could just like get into the nitty gritty as soon as possible and just have some really cool actual AVP scenes.
Or even
be-
a little more stalking from the Aliens, I guess?
Yeah.
Like, because that's what I felt was missing a little bit from it. The horror aspect of the aliens, like stalking their prey. Like they kill them pretty quickly. I feel like you blink and like within 10 minutes everybody's dead except for the main girl and then the guy. But they should have done a little more build up. Like Prometheus, I feel like there's a little more build up to everybody dying. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think like I said, if you had started with that whaling community already have been wiped out by the aliens, and then when they get there, the aliens are already like ready and like stalking them, that would have been so much better. But yeah, the horror aspect is definitely missing from this, which might be why it's a lot more fun. Like it's a more fun and like movie that you're not like kind of on the edge of your seat. But
I do remember
this
it
is-
feeling. It did feel like a betrayal that it was PG-13 at the time. I was like, "Come on, guys! Like, what are you doing?" It's like when they made Halo rated teen. It's like you guys are idiots.
I think to that point though, it kind of goes with what Eddie said, right? They needed this to kind of bring in that new generation, and James Cameron and Ridley Scott can be pissed about, these guys quote, screwing up their legacies, but they may not be making the stuff they have now if they didn't have this stuff to kind of still keep
Doesn't
it,
that argument scares me because it makes me think like, is some 20 or is some 30-year-old gonna tell me that when I'm 45 about like the sequels or about like Disney Plus stuff?
Well, the only
yeah, but they're
the
going to
only-
be objectively wrong.
Yeah, for sure. But the only argument I would say to that too, though, is like, it was, the sequel comes out in 2007, Alien vs Predator Requiem. No, it's only called Requiem so that it could be abbreviated to AVPR to remind the audiences that this time it's fucking rated R. That's why it's called Requiem, so that the short form could be AVPR. And it was released on Christmas Day 2007, and you better goddamn believe I was in the theater on Christmas Day to see
I definitely
the
saw that one in the theater.
AVP sequel, which had a trailer which had Silent Night in it, which is an amazing trailer if you can find it. But but yeah, man, that's pretty much it. I don't know if you guys are still doing the Patreon read on the main show, but we can do it here.
Yeah, go
We
ahead.
had Captain Fordo, Renee Mendez, Eric Mariscal, King Louis, Mark Pearson, Paul Schreiber, Equan, Chris Valencerina, Ben Thomas, David Jones, Sam Gist, Thomas Clark, Eric Schweitzer, Six Guns Figs, Badfish, Luke Skywalker, Griffin Campbell, Dan Lee, Deanie Martin, Big Fern, Caesar American, Mark Phillips, Lisa Martin Bomonsky, Jose CZ, Tukathri, Wah, Aries Portillo, Alvin J, Aurelius Delgado, Toy Cartel, Sean Forrester, Harry Dempsey, that's the new one to me, Sith Scale Collector, Jared Gagne, Alberto Cortez, Big Rib, The Big Donk. I feel like that's new as well. That's good. Relatively anyway. Trevor Weed, Darren Ilderton, Don Matan, Stephen Percha, Sean Yotzi, Stephen Maria Stanley, Eddie Manzanares, Louis Bennett, Chip Perrin, Exodus, and Abe Dunk TV, and Gigi the Judgmental. Thanks so much for supporting the show on Patreon, guys. And if you choose to do that, the hot seat gives you access to digital benefits, including 17 archived episodes of CW Plus, Rest in Peace, and archived episodes of After Dark, which you can get every week after they're removed from public view on YouTube. And then if you join as Sweet Angel and above, you get stickers sent to you every other month. And the May-June stickers are OxCon 3, which is, if you can make it, you should, because everybody's from the network's gonna hang out in San Antonio. And then you got a toy show sticker, which is the Zach hopping on the AI bandwagon of doing the Studio Ghibli filter. But it's pretty impressive that you can tell who everybody's supposed to be on that sticker. I can figure out who everybody is, and that looks like Sean. I don't know. It's pretty good. You can just tell that's him. I don't know how, but that's good. And then you got our YouTube channel members: 12-inch Moose Dream, Absolute Irwin, Alex Black, Aurelius Delgado, Aaron Salazar, Aaron Broverman, Ben Thomas, Big Rib, Bob Dylan, Chris Valencerina, Clinton Martin, CT603, DJ Eddie Money Mendez. Thanks for joining us, buddy. Gare Bear, Hodor, Mike's Adventure World, extreme competitor to Zach's Wonderland, Jake, Just Another Friday Night, Justin's Sports Card, Jazzy, King Dingling, Luke Skywalker, LV Avenger 702, Figure in a Bubble, Mr. Sketch, OG Fan, 1/6 Figure Focus, Philip the Fool, S-Beam, Sam Gist, SpongeBob SquareBalls, Trevor Weed, and Universal Key. Thanks for supporting as a YouTube channel member. And if you're a subscriber on YouTube, you'll see all these awesome shows. I don't know when the last OFAC was, but they seem to be doing roughly one a month at undetermined release date, which is, it's good to see them back, and I appreciate that show every time I listen to it. Then you got the main show live every Tuesday night. Small Talk, 2 Thursdays per month, and they'll be on next week, and I'll be on there. And then you're watching CW Movie Night. We're gonna do probably one episode every month, probably the last Thursday of the month. That is not a Small Talk Thursday. And then After Dark is live every Wednesday night. And I don't know if we're gonna take CW Plus off this eventually or not, Dean. You tell me. You tell me. Is
I
that
have
real?
no idea.
Okay, is it actually over? I don't know, because that last one was pretty good. But
I thought the last one was great, but no one's watching it. So
yeah, people got to watch. But and then you'll have Just Another Friday Night, and I had a great time joining them for their first Andor recap, and those guys get it, man. They get pretty deep into the Andor lore, referencing original trilogy novelizations and stuff. So I appreciate those guys. But that's pretty much it for this episode of Movie Night. Any last words from you guys? Anything you want to say or plug?
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Yeah, shout out Eddie and Fern for joining us.
Yeah, you guys made it better. I love talking,
Extraterrestrials.
and I appreciate you
I don't know if they made it
guys.
better.
They did because they have joy in their lives, Mike. They're not so cynical as you that they can't enjoy
That's
a
fair.
dang Alien versus Predator. Like,
That's
I don't
fair.
agree. Listen, Eddie likes a lot of stuff that I don't like, but I'm glad we could come together about this movie and appreciate that. Like, it's just, I don't know, man. It's like is it good? No, but has all of Hollywood got way worse since 2004? Absolutely, in my opinion. I don't know. It's like it's more fun than you're gonna have in the
It's
theater
almost
anytime
guaranteed
soon.
to be better than the new Superman movie, I think. So
And they made the main character a female before it was
And-
cool.
that,
They,
yeah, I was gonna try to not bring that up,
but did it
it
did
didn't
it bother
bug
you?
me.
Yeah,
It
It
didn't
didn't
bother
bug me
at
at
all.
all. I didn't even think about it back then.
exactly.
And it helped that she was hot.
That's true.
And there it goes.
Well, that's never mind. All right, we're gonna get off that train
Better
of
end
thought.
this.
Yeah, thanks very much for joining, guys, and we'll see you sometime next month.
Bye.